Hi guys, I'm back. I haven't made a video in like a month or two, maybe, I think. Lots and lots of reasons, but here I am. I have some lovely books to show you. I went to the book fair a few weeks ago, I think like 2 weeks ago, and they mostly had Dutch books now instead of the English books, which of course I really like. It's in the Netherlands, so that's why they have Dutch books. Just saying, if you don't know that I live in the Netherlands. That would be really random. But anyway, they still had some English books, fortunately, but most of them were classics, and I thought I already had a lot of classics, but turns out I didn't. Or at least they had so many. They had like a table like filled with all these classics. I think Wordsworth, yeah, the Wordsworth version, the black covers, I'll show you in a moment. And these were actually prettier covers than most of the books that I already own by Wordsworth. So some of them I was like, should I buy them again just for the cover? But I didn't in the end, so. Sorry if the lighting is a bit weird, because I'm actually using lighting from my window for once. It's really sunny outside, but I have to close the blinds nearly all the way, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see me. But here is my classics haul, and I hope you really like it. And I hope to make more videos more regularly. That's a really hard word to say, regularly. Yeah, more often. But yeah. Let's get into it, my classics book haul. So first of all, I feel kind of bad for not knowing that Mary Shelley actually wrote more books than just Frankenstein. It makes sense that she would have, but I just didn't know of any of them, and this is called The Last Man. Ooh, can you see it? Yes. And I really like this cover as well. And it's an apocalyptic fantasy set at the end of civilization, which sounds really interesting and awesome. And I also have to admit, I've never read Frankenstein. I know of the story, of course, but I've never read it. I do have it somewhere. But yeah, I really want to read that now, and I also want to read this one. Although I think most of these classics that I'm going to show you are actually going to end up in storage because I don't have any room for them, and I don't read that many classics, so I'll keep a few, read those, and then switch them. Also, change of background, by the way, I forgot to mention that. You probably noticed. There's my bed right there. Here's a lamp to cancel out the darkness on one side, and back there is my desk, which I actually managed to clean for once. There it is in all its glory. And I'm actually sitting at another desk. Yes, I have two desks. One with my computer on it, and one that's usually just filled with crap, but I actually managed to clean this one quite well as well. I'm really proud of that, that's why I mention it. You probably don't care, but yes. I also have The Lost World and Other Stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I've never read anything by him that wasn't Sherlock Holmes related, so I'm really interested to see what his other stories are about. And apparently this was the inspiration for Jurassic Park and of course Jurassic World now, and I absolutely loved Jurassic Park when I was a kid, and I loved Jurassic World when it came out like last year or something. I really liked it, and yeah, I can't wait to read this one either. Then we have a Bronte book. I actually have the collected works of all the Bronte sisters, but it's a really thick book and it's beautiful, but it's not really handy to actually read, so I also want all of them in little pocket versions. And this is the novel Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, and it's about the life of a governess, and it's actually based on her own experiences, and it's supposed to be really good, so I can't wait to read this. I also got Rip Van Winkle, I think you pronounce it like that, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories by Washington Irving. And I love Sleepy Hollow. There used to be this Sleepy Hollow cartoon that we used to have on DVR, and it was after a Mickey Mouse story where he switched. He was a beggar and he switched with a prince, and because they looked exactly alike, and then they lived out each other's lives and, you know, learned important lessons and stuff like that. And after that came The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and it scared me so much. I was absolutely terrified by it, so I watch it all the time. because apparently that's what I like to do, terrify myself. And yeah, now I have the book. I also have Utopia by Sir Thomas More, which I have actually never read, even though my thesis is actually about dystopia a bit. No, actually it's more about gender roles in actually it's more about gender roles and gender performances in oh my god, I can't speak. In the Hunger Games series. Thank you. That took way too long. I actually cut a bit out there, at least I'm going to. So it's also a little bit about dystopia things. It was supposed to be more about dystopian, utopian theory, but then I switched to gender theory, and anyway, I still really want to read this. That was a really long story, just say I want to read this because I'm interested. Also, I'm noticing that on my little screen there, it's all backwards, and I'm kind of hoping that that's just the screen being weird, and maybe it's always been the case and I just never noticed. If not, you'll see everything backwards like it's a mirror image. If so, I apologize and I have no idea how to correct it on my camera. Next up, we have a really thick one, Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. Actually, I have to look. By Charles Dickens. I also really like this cover. Can you see it? There we go. I think it's really pretty. I like that all the figures kind of go over the lines, kind of jump out of the picture, and here they even kind of obscure his name because everyone knows who Charles Dickens is anyway, so you can still read it. But yeah, never read this one either. So another classic to add to my pile. Next we have From the Earth to the Moon and Around the Moon by Jules Verne, and I've never read anything by Jules Verne, even though I really want to, and I've heard a lot about stories. I own more books by him, and I've never read one, which is kind of shame on me, but yeah, I'm going to. I'm probably gonna try and read a few classics this year, like actively trying to read them instead of just occasionally picking one up. Although I also want to read 100 books this year, and Although I also want to read 100 books this year, I'm already a little bit behind, not too bad, but like 3 books or something. And classics are usually a bit slower to read, for me at least, than contemporary novels, but we'll see. The Scarlet Letter by Nathan Hawthorne. I know a lot of people, if you're from America, maybe even England, and I don't know, Australia, whatever, an English-speaking country, you probably had to read this for your class, but we never had to because our English class was actually, you know, learning English mostly. So I've never read it, but I've heard a lot about it, and I've also seen the movie Easy A, and I know that's a really loose adaptation, but they talk a lot about the Scarlet Letter in there, and it sounded really interesting, and I really want to read this. The Three Musketeers by Alexander Dumas. I love The Three Musketeers. Again, I haven't read the book, I haven't read any of these books because I didn't have them also, and I used to, I don't know, I guess watch Three Musketeer movies? I don't know, I knew the story of course, and I really liked the story, and I'm really interested to read it as well. And I think I started reading it once on my iPod, but it was like such a tiny screen, didn't read very well, so I'm gonna start over with the paperback. The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, which is also a title that I've heard so many times, and I've actually no idea what the book is about. Like, I know it's about society or something. Set against the backdrop of upper-class New York society during the 1870s, and it's supposed to be really good, so also excited to read this one. I also bought The Mysterious Island by Jules Verne, another book that I haven't read yet by his and that I didn't have, and I love this cover. It looks awesome. Really, like, this is the kind of cover that you're like, I want to read that book, so I'm gonna read that book. Almost through the pile now, but another really thick one. It's The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas again, and I've seen the movie ages ago, and I know I really liked it, and yeah, it's probably gonna take a while before I'm gonna delve into such a thick book, but I want to read it one day, and I like the cover. It's kind of really creepy and menacing. if you ask me, and I really liked it. And last but not least, one that I'm gonna save for Christmas time, Christmas Books by Charles Dickens. Of course, it's not a story called Christmas Books, but it's actually five long short stories. It says 5 long stories, but they're basically like short stories, but long ones, get it? I'm babbling. As you can tell, they're Christmas stories. It's Father Christmas. Of course, the Christmas carols in there, the chimes, the cricket on the hearth, the battle of life, and the haunted man. Those last few I don't know at all. I have no idea what they're about except Christmas time. But I really like A Christmas Carol. Again, haven't read it, but I like all the adaptations, especially the Muppet one. And I can't wait to actually read the book. So there you go. All these classics and even more. I can't lift all of them. Yeah, I bought all of these. I'm gonna put them down. Hold on. I bought all of them at the book fair, as I said, and they were all, I think all of them, €2 each, which is really cheap. It's like £1.70 or something. I think like $2.50, $3, guessing. I have no idea what the current rates are, but something like that. €2 each, which especially for the Netherlands is really, really cheap. And I bought a few other books, but mostly classics. So I thought I'd do a classic haul. So tell me, what are your favorite classics? I think mine, I'm not sure what my absolute favorite would be, but I do really like Much Ado About Nothing by Shakespeare. That's my favorite play of all time. And I also really like The Importance of Being Earnest, also play by Oscar Wilde, and I like Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I don't know. I like a lot of classics, but what are your favorites? Have you read any of these classics? Which one should I start with first? Let me know, and I might actually start with that one first. So yeah, I hope you liked this whole video, and I'm gonna make more videos soon, I promise. I missed out on a lot of haul videos. I bought so many books, but it took so long for me to actually, you know, be calm enough, because I have anxiety issues, and be energized enough and everything to make video, that they were just piling up in my room. So I actually already placed them everywhere around my room, because it's driving me nuts. So I probably won't make a video about those, but I will show them in my wrap-up videos if I manage to do those. The ones that I've read, because I have read a lot of lovely books that I really want to talk about. So yeah, that was it. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below telling me about your favorite classics, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!